Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Marcin Jejczyk, and I'm happy to greet you on our weekly IBMC meetup. Today, we are hosting a special guest, Olga Ilina, who is acting as blockchain offering leader for Central and Eastern Europe. And Olga is going to talk about one of the major blockchain networks that has recently been recognized by a number of organizations and bodies for its business usefulness, and serves to make the food safe for both the suppliers but also the consumers. So Olga is going to talk about IBM Food Trust. And yes, I'm encouraging you to post your questions in the chat window, and we'll try to respond to these during the session. That being said, Olga, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Machi, for introduction. So today we're going to speak about introduction to our IBM Food Trust. And let me start the presentation. Give me just a second. Yeah. So only 1 in 4 consumers trust today's food ecosystem. What it means in different perspectives. From the perspective of food safety, only 1 out of 10 people get sick each year, and 420,000 die from foodborne illness. 80% of CPG's business are partly or entirely paper-based. Only 1 of 3 of fresh food is thrown out because it's considered unacceptable. From the perspective of food fraud, 1 in 5 seafood samples is miscibled worldwide. So the root of these issues and many others are the lack of trust and transparency data regarding food freshness. So today's traditional system constructs limit transparency. So what is the problem? Data is siloed within each company, and accessing it requires a request and time. Exchange of information takes place between a pair of partners. To get information from a distant partner may require intermediaries, time, and resources. Most transactions are still paper-based, creating inefficiencies and opportunities for fraud. If everyone maintains their own record of transactions, differences take time and resources to reconcile. Blockchain transforms systems with trust and transparency. What does it mean for us? Because blockchain provides an independent data sharing platform, participants trust it. Once data is shared in a single data sharing platform, everyone has instant transparency into the transactions they are authorized to view. No intermediation required. Data integrity creates an auditable record of all transactions. Dispute resolution from the shared ledger can be automated, saving time and resources. So built on a blockchain platform, IBM Food Trust offers industry-specific functionality targeted at key pain points. From the perspective of trace the location and status of food products upstream and downstream across the supply chain. From the perspective of certifications, it enables reliability and accountability with instant access to digitized records and documents. From perspective of freshness, access real-time and aggregate supply chain data to extend product freshness and shelf life. From the perspective of third-party, partner to extend functionalities and deliver new value across the food system through our APIs. I'll go in detail on next slide. So IBM Food Trust releasing or plan to release in the nearest future a rich set of APIs to deepen the ecosystem and grow its value for our clients and partners. For primary clients, it means consumer engagement, supply chain management, inventory management, freshness and shelf life extension, operational efficiency, and dispute resolution. For third-party integrations, it is smart contracts, consumer apps, supply chain management apps, temperature monitoring, and industry group applications. So IBM Food Trust is an open distributed blockchain model. And what it means for us, it is distributed nodes and smart contracts. Clients using IBM Food Trust data to express unique business logic. Open APIs, open data to enable ecosystem clients and partners to build customization with IBM Food Trust. Interoperability, supported through smart contracts, integrate and connect data across networks and other infrastructure. Trust anchors, IBM Food Trust participants that are endorsing, validating, and securing the network. Nodes anywhere, flexibility with nodes in hybrid cloud environments for running smart contracts. So I would like to highlight that IBM Food Trust is the only enterprise-class blockchain solution for the food system. From the perspective of business value, it's designed so every participant can see a positive ROI for each. From ecosystem, it's open to all participants in the food ecosystem. From governance model, it is built and maintained with the collaboration of industry thought leaders. Data ownership, membership, trust model, interoperability, third parties, and more. From the perspective of standards and interoperability, it's built to interoperate with blockchain and non-blockchain solutions, leveraging existing standards. And from technology, it's innovative enterprise-class technology, security and privacy, reliability, scalability, resilience, and auditability. So trust based on blockchain is a good idea if you would like to focus on food safety, food freshness, supply chain efficiencies, food fraud, sustainability, food waste, and brand trust. So as you can see, it gives us a lot of possibilities to improve your business. So IBM Food Trust is built to create value for all ecosystem actors. IBM Food Trust its time to value by adding new models that address various food trust supply chain pain points. Designing a business model where all clients, from small farm to large retailers, generate a positive ROI from the first few products and partners onboarded. And growing the ecosystem with supply chain partners, competitors, third parties, and standard setting bodies. So, as I mentioned before, it's ensuring value for all supply chain actors. For example, what it means for growers, provenance and proof sustainable growth practices. For food manufacturers, it is real-time inventory management and automatic certificate management. For wholesalers and distributors, it's real-time inventory management and targeted recalls. For food logistics, it's real-time inventory management and compliance efficiencies. For food retailers, it is brand trust, customer loyalty, targeted recalls, and of course, extended shelf life. And now we are going deeper in business value design. So what it means for us in terms of revenue growth, operational efficiency, and risk reduction. So for revenue growth, it is brand purpose, consumer preference, quality, freshness, and authenticity. Consumer trust, food safety. For consumer preference is competitive differentiation. From the perspective of operational efficiency, it means waste reduction and inventory optimization, financial reconciliation efficiency, and audit compliance efficiency. From the perspective of risk reduction, it is food traceability, regulatory compliance, and future business agility. So where are we now on our IBM Food Trust journey? We started 4 years ago with some small pilots for Walmart. We conduct traceability pilots for pork and mango. Later, there were additional early adopters joined the IBM Food Trust network, with growing food data transactions. In 2019, we achieved general availability, onboarding additional agriculture, ingredient suppliers, retailers, CPGs, QSRs, and others. To the moment, right now, it is 110 plus members on the platform. What is the options to join and typical path? So start simple, think big, and grow fast. The platform options include join IBM Food Trust Network, go for IBM Food Trust Private, or leverage the IBM Food Trust Platform Provenance Engine. The typical path of getting to scale looks like onboarding on IBM Food Trust with proof of value pilots, business value design, extend usage, more product lines and models, extend build, new functionality, scale, multi-year rollout. And now I would like to share with you our success stories of our clients, the main of them. So with trust consumers with information about their food. So the main problem was that consumers demand more information on food than ever before. Retailers lack easy access to this information and ways to share it with consumers. We figure out a solution. Carrefour partnered with IBM Food Trust to trace select Carrefour products. Together, we implemented QR codes with chicken products that consumers scan for information about source and quality. Regarding results and implications, increased revenue according to recent Carrefour announcement, improved brand trust and stronger relationships with consumers. And now we're going to example of Nestlé and Gerber Foods. So tracing back to source across supply tiers, countries, and ingredients. So the main problem was that product data replaces brand loyalty as primary driver of consumer decision making. And fully supply chain visibility is difficult because of food supply chain complexities. The solution was that Nestlé partnered with IBM Food Trust to test tracing for Gerber Foods. Results was like fuller visibility into supply chain, especially across tiers, nations, suppliers, and so on, and opportunities for supply chain optimization. And now I'm switching to Walmart with end-to-end traceability in 2.2 seconds. The main problem was that leafy greens can be a source of foodborne illness. Walmart wanted to take proactive action to ensure optimal response in the case of an outbreak. The solution was that after conducting a pilot with Food Trust to demonstrate instant end-to-end traceability, Walmart launched an initiative to have all its suppliers of fresh leafy greens on the blockchain solution within a year. And now about results. Walmart have been able to cut trace time down from weeks to seconds. This is accompanied by significant efficiency gains. The initiative enabled Walmart to precede the FDA's recommendation for the adoption of the latest real-time tracing technology after the 2018 Romaine Letouche coli outbreak. And one more really great example is Golden State Foods. So combining the power of blockchain, Internet of Things, and analytics to improve the cold chain. What was the problem? Today, cold chains are not fully optimized to preserve food quality and extend shelf life. Restaurants are increasingly competing on freshness. The solution was that Golden State Foods partnered with Food Trust to create real-time automated visibility into cold chain temperatures and product movement using RFID labeling and IoT sensors. Results. precise product movement and temperature data capture at every node of the supply chain. Dynamic shelf life prediction based on real-world environmental conditions, non-production date. Granular inventory positions and optimal product rotation. And now we are moving to demonstration of our solution. And let me switch to sharing my web browser. Machi, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So now we're going to demonstration of IBM Food Trust. The start page looks like this. And now we're going to a trace model to show you the possibilities of tracing products in the system. I would like to show you example with beef. So you can see it's already in the system, and I'll use this product for tracing. And now I'm pushing the button trace. And finally, we can see the information regarding this piece of beef. So now we're using the view farm to store, and view multi-ingredient view is also available. I'll show it later. So we can see a timeline at the top. So it is easily to get information about the timeline. And so the piece of beef started from the farm, and we can get more additional details what was going on with this piece of beef. So there were 2 farms providing beef. And we can see some extra details. So we can see data and time of the action product and some additional information. So we can see that it was a live cow, and now we are going to our next stage. It's slaughterer, and we have 2 data slots. So we can see grinding whole 1, for example, and now we're going deeper in details regarding this stage. So there are also information regarding different stages. So starting from transforming, and then moving to shipping. So at each stages, information regarding data and time, input product, output product, and serial numbers are available. You can see it here. After slaughter, it goes to cutter. And we can see right now that it was 1 cutter. And we will also get information about this stage. Here you can see information of each stages, transforming, packing, and next shipping. And you can get all necessary information here. So how it was shipping from boarding hall to wholesaler to retailer to packing to expacking to warehouse. So after that, it goes to a cellar, and then to processing facility, and finally to warehouse or depot. So this view on the trace of a piece of beef provides you a whole information regarding the product, and you can trust this information because nobody is able to change it without without specific permissions, and everybody agreed on the rules of putting information in food trust. And now let me change to multi-ingredient view. It looks a little bit different, but also provides the same information in a little bit different view. So from live cow to slaughtered cow, and finally to piece of beef that you are able to buy at the shop. So from my perspective, this is the all information that I would like to tell you about demo. I'm surprised that we are moved faster than we supposed, but right now I'm able to answer on your questions, or maybe Maciej, you can add some information regarding this demo if you want.
Thank you, Olga. We have a first question, but before we go through the Q&A session, there is one very important thing that might be interesting from the perspective of developers. And this is the fact that RESTful APIs representing different functionalities of IBM Food Trust are available to the public. And therefore, you can examine those APIs on your own and start developing a solution around it. So there is a possibility to examine these in order to prepare some demonstration for your clients as a developer. Another very important thing which comes up from your presentation, and I wanted to highlight it, is the fact that throughout the entire process of tracking food products in IBM Food Trust, an international standard consumer goods is used, and this is GS1. GS1 is a standard that predates blockchain, obviously. It is now being used in practically all supply chain scenarios and types of products, regardless whether they're food or other. And IBM Food Trust endorses completely the GS1 standard, and therefore, if your clients are already using GS1 in the process of digitization of the information flow within an organization, then they can experience a complete seamless integration with IBM Food Trust, because the format of data that is put into the system is exactly the same. So this might be a quite important information, especially when your clients are asking about how much effort from operational perspective they would have to put in order to transform their data, an existing data that they already have in their local repositories, in order to be able to integrate with IFT. Maybe one very important thing that also comes up from this is the fact that IBM Food Trust is based on Hyperledger Fabric, IBM blockchain platform in particular, which leverages Hyperledger Fabric open source permissioned blockchain protocol, which we already discussed in previous sessions. So this is exactly what is available under the hood. So that being said, if you, Olga, have no other things to add to the presentation, we can move to the Q&A session.
Yes,
and the first question comes from Sunit. Sunit is asking, do we consider source of truth data validation? And he gave an example of data of food at farm. So if I understand well, is data coming from a farm considered as truthful and is not analyzed before it is entered into the system? Sunit, I hope that I correctly interpreted your question.
Yes, so I can
Yes,
start.
okay. Yes, please, Olga, answer the question if you
correctly the question. So of course, we're using, let me say, for example, I gave example that first pilots was for mango farmers, and when producer or farmer of mango gives information in our system, it how to say, it put it in a way agreed with all participants of the network. So, for example, if we're speaking about freshness and the date of production and so on, the farmer is able to put this information in the system, but the next participants of the network and of the supply chain is going to confirm this data. So, for example, it's impossible to put wrong data because you need verification of further participants. So, Machi, if you have something to add, feel free to add.
So by design, blockchain is going to accept data that goes through the valid sources. So if only the source of the information has the permission to enter the data in an appropriate way, then this data is going to be recorded. But then this data, as Olga rightly said, is going to be validated by the next participant in the supply chain, and therefore is going to be quickly identified for potential frauds or inconsistencies with regards to what was initially declared and saved on the blockchain. Two things that IBM Food Trust brings in, and come with two particular modules. The first one goes for certificates. So if you, for example, have a veterinary service that provides a certificate of quality or vaccination certificate for a particular piece of bovine meat, for example, then the integrity of that certificate can be checked by all of the participants in subsequent stages of the supply chain. So the proof of existence mechanism in blockchain is being leveraged to make sure that there are no misstatements on declared documentation and that no fake documentation is being used in the process of transporting and distributing food in the supply chain. So to conclude, it is any kind of inconsistency with regards to the original state is going to be quickly identified by all of the subsequent participants in the network, and therefore the reputation of an entity that is identified as a potential fraudster is going to be put at question. And obviously is going to be a single source of truth for these kinds of events. Another question again comes from Sunit. Please put some thoughts on pricing model. Olga, can you please elaborate?
I suppose we are not going into deep details regarding pricing, but we can, how to say, tell about our general overview and our approach for this pricing. So in general, you are paying for using APIs. Am I right, Machi?
Can you please?
Yeah, right. So there are different options for different size of organization. So, for example, for a smaller one, there are different packages for this size of organization. So we have some offering for a smaller business, for medium enterprises, and for a larger one. And this includes some number of calls of APIs to the platform. In case you're interested in concrete use case, feel free to contact me or Maciej, and we will give you more details for your organization.
Yeah, so the reason for that is basically because IBM Food Trust is an elaborate piece of software that gives a lot of possibilities and that might require some additional onboarding services. You can, just to summarize, you can either onboard your organization into it on your own, and then you just pay for a pure license and support. But then you can also purchase additional onboarding services in case your organization does not have operational capability to handle that process on your own. Then there is also a question about the number of your supply chain business partners whom you want to onboard into IBM Food together with you. And each of those cases has to be handled separately because there may be some intricacies in terms of their level of digitization, the type and format of data in which they handle all of their supply chain transactions. And therefore, this is subject to an individual analysis. But long story short, Olga and myself, we are here to help you to examine that and to provide a precise figure.
Yeah, and we have a next question.
There is a statement from Vikas, but I see that, so Vikas said that blockchain is blind. How authentic is data is a use case to be handled by IoT solution? So this is more a statement rather than a question.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Olga, please correct me if you think that I'm wrong. As I previously said, blockchain is going to accept transactions if they are fully formed and they are handled by an appropriate person having privileges to be able to put that data into the distributed ledger. But there's also always a possibility to add an additional layer in form of Internet of, IoT and analytics mechanisms to verify the data before it is put into the system. And we have a couple of clients who used that mechanism to make sure that whatever is put into the blockchain is actually correct.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in example about Golden State food, we used data from sensors for a IoT part of this solution. So it was not data put in by producers or someone else. So it is some kind of automation of data. And for example, if we're speaking about some temperature records, it was taken from sensors, not put it in hand by somebody else.
So we have another question from Sunit.
Mm-hmm.
Do we trace product till customer? In demo, I observed that it's traced until it reaches the store. So can you tell us, Olga, a little bit more about that modeling of tracing? Because you showed a particular scenario, but obviously this scenario can be extended. So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
We showed, let me say, insights about the platform and how it looks for producers and manufacturers and wholesalers and so on. But of course, we have a view for customers. And as I mentioned before, with example for Carrefour, we have QR codes on products. So when you're visiting Carrefour, you're able to take this concrete product and you're scanning this QR code, and your phone allows you to open information in browser and to track all the way of this product. So the only thing that you need to add is the concrete details regarding this series number. So, for example, we have this example for mushroom potato or something like this. Yeah, mashed potatoes. And if you're interested in it, I can share it with you. So it will be really easy to understand how it looks like. Another example, we already implemented this for salmon. So this is the same situation. You are taking salmon as a consumer in the shop. You are scanning this QR code and getting the whole information from the very beginning. The all supply chain of this product and information provided by all participants regarding this salmon.
So if you allow me, Olga, I'm going to show an example of how it was done in France. I will just share my screen. So this is an example of mousseline mashed potatoes that are being sold in Carrefour supermarket chains in France. This is a very popular product produced by Nestle. I think by Maggie, sorry about this. But each package contains a QR code that is attached to it, which you can scan with your phone. And this QR code is going to provide you with additional information about the origin of the product, the origin of potatoes that have been used to produce that particular package, and also some basic information about the supply chain process. So how long did it take for potatoes and then the processed product to reach the supermarket shelf. But this is just an example of the way you can interact with end users by leveraging data that is saved on IBM Food Trust. Okay. So there's, if we continue with the question from Sunit, how if customer comes up with some complaints, but he does not have product ID? Can we trace back product based on customer data? Well, again, in case of an example that I have showed with the mashed potatoes, each product is equipped with a QR code. This QR code is probably not uniquely identifiable for each package. It's more allotted to a production date or production series. But this already gives a possibility to filter out and to focus on a particular lot that has been produced on a particular date in a particular factory, and which then can speed up the process of complaint. So this is how I would respond to it. Olga, do you have anything to add, or maybe other examples?
Nothing to add. I fully agree with you.
Vikas, please share some use case with respect to data ingestion to blockchain. Do you have any data on this, Olga?
I'm not able to share it right now, but if you're interested in this use case, please contact me directly and I'll provide you this data.
Okay, I do not see any further questions. Any other questions? If there are no questions, then I propose to close today's presentation. I would like to thank you, Olga, for your presentation and the demonstration of IBM Food Trust. And I also would like to thank everyone for their availability and willingness to come in on today's session. If you still have any other questions, feel free to reach us directly or follow us on LinkedIn, and we will do our best to respond to all of the questions you have. As said in the beginning, this session is recorded, and therefore the recording is going to be available on YouTube. Feel free to distribute it to your clients, and do not hesitate to contact us if your clients have an interest in exploring that solution in their business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, and bye-bye.